SoFi and stock market investors, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason. In today's episode, we're going to discuss whether or not SoFi is going to create cash or crash after the earnings report coming next Wednesday. We are 8 days away until SoFi reports earnings. So we're going to go over what the projections are, where I think we're going to ultimately end up, and whether or not I think the stock is going to create a bunch of cash for us, or it's going to crash back down to 15 or so bucks a share. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want more stock market and SoFi updates. Let's get into the video. All right, all my SoFi investors, before we get started, I've been getting tons of comments saying that I don't own any SoFi stock and I'm full of shit, blah, 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 blah. Take a look at your screen right here. In my big dog account, we own 6,505 shares of SoFi. Woo, baby. And then in my Robinhood account, we own another, 550 shares of SoFi. So that's well over 7,000 shares. And I do have some shares scattered about in different brokerage accounts, 100 here, 100 there, and some IRAs and all that good stuff. So I just wanted to show you guys, I do got skin in the SoFi game, and I've been buying. I was buying in the 20s. I was buying in the 30s. $6 I bought the stock, So I've been buying the stock every which way imaginable. It is what it is. So there it is, guys. We own over $100,000 worth of SoFi stock. And now let's get into this earnings report here, guys. Let's go. All right, good day today, up 3.70%. You got to love that. Wall Street analysts are projecting SoFi will report earnings of around 11 cents and roughly 1.1 billion to 1.14 billion for its upcoming Q2 release, which is set for Wednesday the 29th before market opens. Okay, so we did 12 cents of EPS last quarter. They're projecting 11 cents. I'm hoping they do 12 cents again. In the beginning of the year, they were projecting 60 cents of EPS. So if we do 12 cents in the both first two quarters, that's only 24 cents, right? So we have to have significant increase in EPS in Q3 and Q4 if we want to hit that overall 60 cents worth of EPS for the year. So we got to come in 16, 17, 18 cents over the next couple of quarters if we want to reach those numbers that they were projecting. PE ratio is around 40 right now. Zacks consensus estimate sits at 11 cents per share, showing a 37.5 year-over-year increase compared to 8 cents reported in the same period last year. I would love for us to hit 12 cents. That would bump us over a 40% year-over-year increase. And if we can continue to do that, the stock will start to go up. Mark my words. The revenue consensus, about 1.1 billion. Anywhere, I think between 1 billion and 1.2 billion is kind of where we're going to sit. It marks a slight slowdown in year-over-year momentum down to about 30%. So I'm hoping we hit the upside here, guys, and we could hit some green lights. Maybe if we could do 1.2, maybe 1.3 billion and surprise, that would be amazing. SoFi management previously guided for Q2 adjusted net revenue of 1.15 billion and adjusted EBITDA of 330 million, translating to a 30% EBITDA margin. The full year outlook for the fiscal year 2026 leadership forecasted 4.655 billion in adjusted revenue. And then, like I said before, overall adjusted EPS of 60 cents. So a lot of work to do. Yeah, guys, if we're only at 24 cents going into the second half of the year, we need 18 cents on average over the next two quarters. Hopefully Anthony Noto knows something that we don't, with these Q3 and Q4 numbers getting a huge increase in earnings per share. So there is an implied move. The data from options pricing reveals the traders are bracing for a 11.46% swing in either direction following the earnings report. So we're right around 17.50 right now. 10% is $1.75. So a little bit more than that. We're looking at a $2 swing-ish in stock price to the upside or the downside. So maybe we could close in on 20 bucks, or we could go back down to that $15 range. That's kind of where I see it right now for SoFi. It's not with SoFi, even if the numbers are great, we have seen consistently that the stock does sell off. So I'm projecting that the stock will crash and will hit back under 16 bucks per share. I'm not buying going into these earnings report. I am selling some covered calls in that 19 to 1950 range over the next couple of weeks. Here is what we're looking for in these earnings reports coming up. The tech segment recovery. Investors will closely monitor tech platform Galileo revenue. Galileo has been exceptionally disappointing over the last several years for SoFi. There's no other way around it. So we would like to see a boost in revenue for Galileo. This sector faced a drag earlier this year after losing a major client, but management targets a full year platform benchmark of 325 million. Still not good enough in my opinion. New ecosystem additions. This quarter marks the first period capturing early metrics from newly introduced fintech verticals, including SoFi USD stablecoin network and its Composer AI retail investing tool integration. So will we see a boost in revenue because of those products? That remains to be seen. Something we have to look out for in these reports next Wednesday. Insider sentiment. Bullish momentum has been reinforced by executive sentiment. CEO Anthony Noto executed several open market stock purchases in 2026, acquiring over 130,000 shares. Man, you got to love that. His latest June transaction valued at around $18.06 per share. So, where are we at with that, guys? Do we think that, I wish there was more people buying other than Anthony Noto. That would give us some more positive reinforcement as we move closer and closer to SoFi. And there's tons of articles. Will SoFi double this year? We'll have to see. But another thing I want to look out for is the members added. Wall Street analysts are estimating that SoFi Technology will add between 900,000 and 1.05 million new members during the second quarter. I would like us to get over that million new members added per quarter. That way, every year, 4 million plus gets added to this ecosystem, and we would absolutely love that. Management's full year guidance. SoFi leadership has explicitly targeted at least 30% year-over-year member growth for its fiscal year 2026. I love that. To comfortably stay on track for this target, the company needs to maintain a quarterly addition baseline of roughly 900,000 members. I'm hoping for 1 million. Let's get 1 million. The Q1 growth baseline. In the preceding first quarter of 2026, SoFi posted a record-breaking 1.1 million new member additions, which brought its total cumulative user base to 14.7 billion. 35% year-over-year increase. We are going to be over 15 million heading into the second half of the year, and we love that. The year-over-year target for Q2 2026, hitting a total member count of 15.6 million to 15.8 million, will satisfy Wall Street's current trajectory modeling. I agree with that. I want to see over 1 million. If we get over 1 million new members, I will be happy with that, because these new members are translating to product usage, and that is always a good sign. Moving forward for SoFi stock, let me know in the comments. Are you buying SoFi stock? Are you holding pat through earnings? I would love to know your thoughts. And as always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And the last thing I want to discuss is all the things that have been going on with SoFi over the last 3 months. SoFi expands ETF lineup with the Social 50 Income ETF, SFYI. I do love when they're starting to add more ETFs, because the more people that invest, the more fees they will ultimately collect. SoFi scheduled a conference call. SoFi introduces small business loans to help members pursue their business ambitions. I think this is huge. I think America is built off of small businesses, right? And if SoFi is there for people who want to invest in themselves, SoFi is there to back them up and help grow their businesses. And I think small business banking and big business banking, are huge verticals for SoFi moving forward. I think these businesses are great, high margin businesses that will ultimately make this bank bigger and bigger and bigger. I love adding small business loans to this platform. It's great. Introducing Composer by SoFi, AI-powered investing from idea to execution. Introducing SoFi Coach. SoFi USD becomes the first stablecoin issued by a U.S. national bank to launch on a banking platform. I mean, there's been a lot of awesome stuff moving forward into Q3, right? So all these things are starting to get established now. So we're going to start to see a payoff for them in Q3 and Q4. So that's why I think guidance could be really good here in Q2. Looking at Q3 and Q4, because all of these verticals that are being discussed that have happened in Q2 will start to pay dividends on the top and bottom line as we move farther down the road in Q3 and Q4 of this year. That's why I do think the 18 cents per quarter in EPS, even if we do 16 cents next quarter, then 20 cents in Q4, I think it's doable to get to that 60 cents. Because if we don't hit that 60 cents threshold that management was guiding for, that could be a huge problem in the short term for the stock price. I do think we're going to see a little bit of a sell-off, but we haven't seen a dramatic run-up in stock price, so maybe it just stays flat to a little bit of a bump, but I'm expecting the stock to go back under 17 bucks per share for at least a little while, and then the stock will stabilize, and then we'll gear up for the next run-up over the next couple of months. I do think the end of the summer is going to be good for SoFi as we get closer and closer to interest rates coming down. I think once we get a clear idea of what's going on with the economy and this bullshit overseas kind of wraps up, hopefully interest rates will come down and then the stock price will go up. I think SoFi is going to trade directly with interest rates. As interest rates come down, SoFi will go up. So we got to just be patient, wait for these interest rates to come down, because once they do, SoFi stock will be up over 20 bucks, then 25, then on to $30 per share again over the next year as interest rates come down. Let me know your thoughts on this Q2 earnings report in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Peace.